Good day, everyone. Thank you for attending this another session within the NAMPU virtual. Thank you very much for attending. I see there is a few attendees that is on, so we're going to start with this presentation. This presentation is going to be a presentation regarding the Grain SA Farmer Development Program, what the program entails and how we work with the program. And then afterwards, after the discussion and the presentation, a bit of a video to indicate some of the work that we're doing in this program. So welcome everyone. I'm going to ask that everyone mute their system, and then at the end of the presentation there's going to be a session allowed for questions, and then you're more than welcome to unmute and to participate in the discussions. My name is Dirk Strydom. I'm currently the manager of Grain Economics Marketing and the Farmer Development Program, and currently responsible for the Farmer Development Program, and that would be the discussion for today as well. So in short, let's start with the presentation. I'm going to start off by just introducing of what our program entails. In our program, we've got different categories in terms of what type of producers is supported. So that is from small subsistence farmers, which is basically farmers that consume or produce for household consumption, and that goes through to the bigger producers that's more linked to that's got resources to get onto a commercial basis. So if you look in terms of the numbers that we're currently supporting in the essence of 12,593 producers in the program. Then if we look at that, you'll see that the majority of this is subsistence farmers. Between the category of smallholder farmers, 10 to 50 hectares, we've got 387 producers. Then we've got 50 hectares up to 250 tons produced that we call our potential commercial farmers. There we've got 219, and then we've got our commercial new era commercial farmers, which is in the essence of 395 producers, and these producers we classify as producers that produce more than 250 tons. So if we look at the program, the goal is, if we look at subsistence producers, the goal there is to get them to a commercial yield. These are producers that don't necessarily going to have the abilities to be commercial producers, and that's based on their resources. But what we try with the program is to at least to get them to commercial yields. So we teach them the right practices, the right ways to produce, to use the right input methods, and that's a very important part for us, that good agriculture practices must form part of it. But later on in the presentation, I will explain a bit more in that regard. Obviously, the moment that we get more to bigger producers, the challenge is always to see how do you get these producers to obtain credit? How do you get these producers to start to mechanize? And that's the challenge within the system, specifically when these producers want to obtain finance, but they don't have the security levels for collateral in order to get finance. Within our program, this is called our program culture. So this is the stuff that we believe is making a development program at the end of the day work. All people needs to be treated with dignity. That's very important. Every person's got its own scenario. Every producer's got different scenarios, and one must utilize each person and develop each person within his environment. We believe that agriculture is a strategic mover, and that agriculture can unlock potential and improve livelihoods in all sections, if it's a rural community or in a commercial space. Then we believe we can improve livelihood potential and increase household food security through the programs that we have, which is very important in our rural areas. And then we assist farmers who have access to land and the opportunity to farm. That's for us a very important. It must be people that's already access to land and that's working the soils to assist these farmers to really transform and to really produce for the benefit of of themselves and the communities in the vicinity. We actively participate in the transformation of the sector, and then we provide constructive guidance and teach best practices. That's a very important principle for us. The next one is that we don't farm on behalf of people. They must still farm themselves. We teach them how to farm. That is the core principle here. The best strategy for sustainable development is the development of individual capacities. So that's for us. We need to develop the individual. We need to develop the farmer himself. Then farmers must farm for themselves. It's not, we don't get contractors to farm for the farmers. These farmers must do everything themselves. If there's mechanization needed or something like that, that's when we get participants in. Then all scales of farmers are assisted in this program, and we teach them modern crop production methods from the 1 hectare to the larger scale producers. And that's for us a very important thing to keep up with modern technology, to make sure that the producers get the access to the modern technology and to utilize that within their production. The success is sustainability. We want producers to be sustainable. We want them to produce optimal on every hectare that they can plant, that they get an optimal yield on that basis. We believe in participating development. We believe in participating development. So yeah, that's for us a very important part. Is we learn from one another, we learn together, and that's a focus area. We build it on trust and relationship. That is for us a very important thing. And then we get partnerships involved. We depend on collaborative partnerships, and we need to build networks around our farmer development and our producers. So given that our program runs on donorship funding, it's purely based on donorship funding. And there we make use of a lot of industry role players that assist us to form and to be able to develop these producers. And within this program, we educate the farmers, and we do skills development through various training courses. We train in the essence of 500 to 600 farmers a year in these programs. Through these partnerships, we identify the best practices in the modern technology. We utilize the partners to do the knowledge transfer to the producers as well. And at the end of the day, the goal is to increase the food security and to get producers that's got resources to get to a commercial state. Part of the services that we render, we also get funding from the different commodity trusts, the maize trust, the protein oilseed trust, and the winter cereal trusts. Our services, we've got offices in the Paarl, Tata, Maclear, Dundee, Louwsburg, Nelspruit, Lichtenburg, Bloemfontein, and Kokstad. And there we've got coordinators that's working closely together with the farmers, with mentors that we apply. The mentors is working closely with the farmers and the coordinators to make sure that the right knowledge transfer takes place. But the activities we have is we've got support services to groups. We've got an established network system of study groups where we do knowledge transfer, where we discuss what's happening in this season, how the season is progressing, what is stuff that needs to look out for. And then obviously we do the training courses through the study groups as well. But we also support the individual farmers on one-to-one mentorships. This will be farmers that's more on a bigger scale. And there we've got the direct interaction with them as a one-to-one business part. And then we've got also a Pula Mvula magazine where we transfer knowledge to the producers on a monthly basis, currently through 5 different languages, and making sure that they all know what is happening in the market and what is important aspects that needs to be considered. Given all this knowledge transfer, we've got different projects that's happening that separate from our services. The specific projects that we're looking at is the first one is called AB InBev. That's where we provide import support for the producers. And at the end of the season, they need to do a payback agreement. The producers are selected through looking at what training courses they did at our program, making sure they're equipped with the knowledge to do this type of production. And the crops that we're looking at is maize, beans, and sunflower seed is the majority of the crops in that programs. This is specifically farmers that's producing on 50 hectares, and they get the support on the 50 hectares. And after the season, then it's like a revolving investment. They need to pay back the money, and that money is then yet again utilized for the next season. We've got a new project that's going to launch now from SACTA, the South African Cultivar and Technology Agency, that works on the same principle as the AB InBev one, and that's specifically for wheat and soybean farmers. Then we've got a project that we're running with Standard Bank, where we try to get finance for producers to produce on a bit of a larger scale, where there is different risk sharing models from input providers assisting us with risk sharing, to Standard Bank providing some risk sharing models as well. And that's specifically to see how we can get better access to finance for producers that don't have any collateral at all. That selection criteria go through a normal banking selection criteria. It's all based on profitability selection, but there's a full credit committee that looks at these applications. And this year we had a total of 8 producers participating in this project. Within the AB InBev project, we had 88 producers participating, and these 88 producers are almost finished now and looking very good in terms of the season. The majority of them paid back the revolving investment and are ready for the next season going forward. The next one is more our smaller scale farmers. That's the Beyond Abundance project. This is typically 1 hectare producers. Here, the farmers do a buy-in of in the order of 4,000 rands a hectare, and then we purchase and we go to the input providers, obtain the right inputs, purchase the inputs and deliver the inputs to the producers, and assist them to plant as well, to make sure that they do the correct cultivation methods, that they look after the soils, that they do conservation agriculture, that they use the right spraying methods. And here it's basically to get them to achieve a commercial yield on that level. So it's not just for food consumption at the end of the day. After they've utilized it for own home consumption, then they're also selling it on a commercial basis. This is just a maize program, and if we look at the numbers in this instance, this year we had 7,200 hectares of producers participating in it, and a really good project that's going from strength to strength in that order. Then we're also doing some work on a governmental basis. We're just starting with the project now, where it's a recapitalization project from Department Rural Development and Land Reform, and they identified producers that need capitalization, and they contracted as a commodity group to make sure that these producers get the right equipment, that they do the right production methods, that they do the right recapitalization on the farm with the right equipment, with suitable equipment for the work that needs to be done, and that they plant the right crops at the right time. So a full management of the project that we're assisting the government in terms of that as well. The last one is the one that I'm going to play a video on later on, and that's with Department of Science and Innovation, and it's called Nixtemalisation. The Nixtemalisation process is an old process that originated from Mexico, which is basically how they make the tortillas, and where they use lime to increase shelf life. And basically what it helps us with is the producers that harvest that they can quickly process their food and make it into different types of food. They make yogurts, they make breads, all out of maize, and it gives a bit of a longer shelf life. So that helps as well to help with the management of mycotoxins and all these type of things that is problems when you start to store maize. So this is a very interesting project, teaching producers how to add value to their produce and to create a new environment in terms of maize with, I must say, a lot of creativity from the ladies working on this project. They're baking cookies, they're baking breads, a lot of different products that they literally bake out of or make out of maize. So I'm later on gonna play a video in that regard as well, to explain that a bit. So yeah, that's in a nutshell our whole project. I'm gonna open up the floor for discussion. You're more than welcome to participate and ask questions, how it works and what the goals are. So you're more than welcome to participate if there's any questions. Okay, it seems like there's no questions. I don't know if it was me doing a good job of the presentation, but I'm going to play the video quickly for you as well, in terms of the nixtamalisation process and what it entails. So please, I'm going to share it, and then afterwards we can open up for questions.
If one look in South Africa and one look particular at our rural South Africa, the stunting of children, malnutrition is a huge factor in South Africa.
There are real opportunities for us to change the paradigm.
We can go beyond just helping farmers producing these commodities and these grain crops, but let them help them in terms of household food security.
To reduce obesity from 27% where it sits, to reduce malnourishment, and look at reducing the number of people living below the global poverty level.
Nixtamalisation is a really ancient technique, and it started in South America. If you look at the literature, and it's really a very simple concept of processing maize.
You can really enhance the value of the end product by nixtamalising the maize, ensuring that you have more nutrients, you have more protein in terms of niacin, you have more iron and other enhanced vitamins in the product. When it started out, it was just an idea. We saw that it was a technology that's being used regularly in Mexico to make tortillas.
We were talking about all the wonderful work in the Farmer Development Program and what can we do and what processing activities can we assist with. How can industry and government implement this in partnership?
We really had at hand the ability to support innovations that would contribute to diversification of people's diets. It's about making sure that we use the technologies for socioeconomic impact.
And this was perfected by the Farmer Development Group through the training they provided. I am so happy that Jerry and his passion for his farmers has resulted in what we see here today.
Farmers can be capacitated to use the maize they are harvesting from their arable lands to cook different types of foods after they have processed it using the slacked lime.
We brought the communities together, we got the recipes right, and these things have turned out quite marvelous in terms of use of peanuts, marmite, is also this liquid snack that they've produced by roasting the maize and nuts together. So it's really some of the very old traditional recipes that they've brought back, but they've used the nixtamalized maize. So it's tasty, it's nutritious, and it really shows a lot of promise.
The food was really good. Once we've walked into this, after reading the concept and what people can make with masa, and once we've seen it, and I must say initially there was like, what is this? What will it taste like? Once we started tasting the different scones, the different variations on porridge, the different variations on all this breads that was presented to us, I'm really so grateful of the women who took that basic recipes and built it into something so fantastic. The next level for us is to take this and see how food scientists can come in to just tweak some of these recipes for us and help with the packaging, and that's the next step of this nixtamalisation training.
Yeah, so that was one of the projects, a quick snap in terms of that, just explaining how the nixtamalisation process working, and we're looking forward in terms of rolling out that project to bigger levels. We just started testing it, and we're looking forward to take that further as well. I don't know if there's any questions regarding the program or what we're currently doing in terms of the development programs. I see one of our farmers is on the system currently. I'm not sure if he's got audio. Patrick, are you there? Oh, it seems Patrick don't have audio. I'm going to ask another person that I can see and recognize. Hendrik, are you on the system currently?
Yes, Dirk, I am.
Hendrik is one of our part of one of our donors in the project, and maybe Hendrik, you can allude in terms of why it's important for you guys to be part of the development process. You can introduce yourself and maybe explain to the participants here why you see this as an important project for you guys to be involved as well.
Yes, Dirk, thank you. Yes, I'm Hendrik from Staden, from Bayer, from the Campaign Activation Office. Yes, Dirk, I think it's important for us, you know, as a team to participate in this project. I think, I mean, it's an easy question, but it could be a lengthy, you know, answer. But I think the big thing is for us is to really to support these farmers by really educating in the sense of the technology today that is available. You know, because what we would like to see is that they also can grow as farmers, you know, produce food for themselves, but also get a better income, you know, for them. But really to see the yield improvements and the technology needs that they also have that can bring, you know, to those specific farmers, the value. Thank you, Dirk.
Thank you very much, Hendrik, for that as well. I think to explain some of the successes we had in terms of this, and this is the changes that's happening, is if you look at specifically within our Beyond Abundance project, producers start off with roughly about a ton a hectare that I produced on their lands. And with the assistance of someone like Bayer and the knowledge and the technology that's already in the seeds, we could manage to increase this in 1 year's time to 4 tons a hectare. That changed this producer's life vastly in that short period of time. I always remembered the story of a lady that once when we did a monitoring and evaluation told us that for the first time they had enough food in their household to be able to consume, but also had some additional money to buy for the first time in her life a bed. And this lady was close to 60. So that's the type of change that these programs are doing with assistance of donors and trying to achieve that in the essence. Yeah, so I think that explains a bit of the program. For us, it's very important, like I mentioned, that the producers are involved, and we call it that the producer also have skin in the game. The moment there's no grant systems with us, these producers work they work their lands, they work on their lands, and they also have money in the projects as well. For instance, like the Beyond Abundance, they're paying closely to 70% of the whole project. They're paying on their own. The mentorships, and those are through partners that we've got involved to make sure that they produce very good and get commercial yields. Yeah, so is there maybe any questions from your side? If there's no questions, then I thank you very much. Thank you for making time. I see here's a raised hand. Unfortunately, I can't see your name, but you're more than welcome to ask a question.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Percy. I'm based in Gauteng. I would like to find out more about your training. I just wanted to find out, how do you conduct your training? Do you go to farmers, or do you conduct it at your facility? And again, I'd like to find out if these are unit standard training and who accredit your training. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, so thank you very much. It's a very good question. So yeah, the training we do through our study groups. So our study groups is all over the country where it's established, and we do the training through those study groups to make sure that it's directed in terms of different regions, and to make sure that it's really getting to the producers itself. So it's directed directly to producers and producer groups. And then part of that is we get trainers that was part of development, that was part of our project, and those guys are then going to the producers and provide training at the producers themselves. So we literally go into the villages and do the training in the villages. The accreditation depends on the type of courses. Some of the courses are accredited with AgriCETA. Some of the courses are not accredited, and the courses ranges from normal basic production principles, how to produce maize or soybeans or sunflowers, up till stuff like mechanization, how to maintain your mechanization, how to do welding, how to look at engines, how to service engines, right through. So there's a vast number of different courses that we present. And like I said at the beginning, these courses are funded also by our donors. So it's already funded projects, and we go to the producers and literally go deliver the courses at the producers. And after each course, we exactly know which attendees take place. We exactly know who was there. We give them certificates. So for us, governance is a very important part of the whole farmer development project. So we've got a website, a data website where we literally have all the data of all our farmers involved in our program. We exactly know how many hectares they produce. We exactly know what their yields was. We've got photos of the producers. We've got photos of the crops. In some instances, we've got NDVI images. We've got GPS locations. So for all 12,000 farmers, that's part of our program. We've got full details of these farmers. We know exactly when the mentor visited them. We've got reports of each visit. We've got reports of their crops. So governance is for us a very important thing to make sure that donors know exactly where the money went to, and also to exactly know how the progress is of each of our producers, and that's for us very important. Any other questions? Yeah, then I thank you very much for participating in these sessions. From a NAMPO virtual side, there's going to be a lot of sessions right through the next couple of days. Make sure that you look at the programs and that you participate in the sessions. The recordings of these sessions will also be made available, and that's going to be available going on forward as well. So definitely that's going to be available going forward. And we'll share it as well in terms of a broader audience. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the NAMPO virtual, and I hope you attended some of the exhibitors, different programs as well. Go and play at all the exhibitors stands, go and play with the links, go and play with the videos, and gain as much info as possible. So thank you very much. With that, I conclude this session, and thank you for participating in this session.
Thank you, Derek.